Unable to afford the wedding, I sold my house to make up the difference. After the wedding, my sister-in-law, emboldened by her pregnancy, pushed her luck and even forced me out of the house. My mother came to look for me and got into a car accident, resulting in an immediate tragedy, reborn in another life. If I ever let that woman into my home again, I will go to the monastery myself. In the living room, my younger brother knelt down and sobbed to our parents, "Dad, Mom, I really like her, I will only marry Yao Yao in this lifetime." My mother looked at the child she had raised for over 20 years with difficulty. "But you know, our family can't afford 500,000, my brother didn't believe it. He moved forward a few steps on his knees, pointed at me who was still a bit dazed, and shouted, "Sister has money, her house is in a great location and can sell for millions. Sis, you're my real sister, my only sister." He grabbed my shoulders excitedly, and the intense dizziness made me uncomfortable. With a headache, I impatiently pushed him away. "Get lost, don't touch me." I looked at the familiar scene before me, my brother engaging in moral blackmail, my parents exhausted, and then turned to look at the room behind me. In my previous life, my sister-in-law moved in, insisting that my room had the best lighting, and conspired with my brother to kick me out while our parents were away. When my mother found out, she rushed out to look for me in a panic, only to get into a car accident. That night, my sister-in-law gave birth. My father was working away and couldn't receive messages on his phone. My brother, holding the newborn, was filled with joy when I received a call from the hospital and rushed over. My mother couldn't hold on any longer and never opened her eyes again. Afterwards, my brother blamed me for not arriving at the hospital sooner. I watched the person in front of me coldly. It seemed I had been reborn. There was still time for everything. I kicked my useless brother to the ground. He fell in disbelief, pointing at me and saying, "Sis, what are you doing?" "What am I doing?" I sneered. "You good for nothing. You've lived over 20 years without accomplishing anything useful, and now you have the nerve to come home asking us for money to get married. Have you lost your mind? You?" He widened his eyes. My parents were also stunned, unable to believe that I, who had always been gentle and caring towards my younger brother, would actually hit him. I wouldn't feel any pity for him now. Without hesitation, I grabbed his collar and threw him out the door. "I'm telling you, Su Zizhou, don't even think about taking a single cent from our family to marry that Lin Yao. If you insist on marrying her, then get out and never come back." After speaking, there was a loud bang. As the door was closed, my mother hesitated, speaking softly to me, "Dear, why are you so angry all of a sudden?" The previous assertiveness suddenly collapsed. I thought of my father crying with his back to me in my previous life, saying it was all his fault for being useless, and then I thought of my mother lying cold on a hospital bed, covered with a white sheet. My nose suddenly stung, and I stepped forward to embrace them. "Dad, Mom, I will not let Su Zizhou and Lin Yao hurt you anymore." The next day, I was chatting with a colleague at work when I happened to hear her mention, "There's a girl from my hometown, a few years younger than me, who found an amazing boyfriend. He went along with everything she wanted. They dated for a few years, and in the end, the bride price was negotiated to 500,000 yuan, with all 5 pieces of gold jewelry included. They even planned to have their wedding on the beach." She lowered her voice, munching on sunflower seeds, and suddenly paused to ask, "But who would have thought it fell through?" Guess what happened? I can't imagine. How could something so good fall apart? Not necessarily. Maybe they realized at the last minute that they weren't right for each other. The man went bankrupt. I became interested and leaned in to listen. Was he cheated on? I guessed casually, and my best friend slapped her thigh, winking at me. Exactly. She was dating several boyfriends at the same time, keeping it a secret for 2 years, not willing to break up with any of them, until finally, she had to get married, so she had to break up with each one. How could that work? The guys, being dumped out of nowhere, naturally wanted to know why, so they came all the way to find her, and then they saw her walking hand in hand with her soon-to-be husband, heading to a bridal shop to pick out a wedding dress. They exploded on the spot, almost getting into a street fight with her. The groom-to-be found out about it, felt utterly humiliated, and definitely didn't want her anymore. Everyone sighed, each lamenting how the world is truly full of wonders. My best friend sat next to me, as if remembering something, and suddenly turned to me and said, "Ziyu, I remember your younger brother also has a girlfriend, right? I heard before that they wanted to get married. How is that going now?" It was fine if she didn't bring this up, but mentioning it just made me angry. "You good for nothing, you've achieved nothing. His girlfriend wants 500,000 yuan in betrothal gifts, and he can't afford it. So he comes back wailing and pleading with us for money. even having the audacity to eye my apartment. I've been working for so many years, gradually saving up to buy myself a 2-bedroom apartment, planning to use it for my old age. In my previous life, my parents were so stressed about his wedding that they couldn't sleep, and as middle-aged people in their 50s, they should have been comfortably preparing for retirement, but for their son, they had to think about going back to work to earn money. Our family isn't well off. My parents did everything they could and only managed to scrape together 200,000 yuan, which was far from enough. I couldn't bear to watch, and since I also felt sorry for my younger brother, I thought things would get better after the wedding, so I gritted my teeth and sold the house to gather the betrothal gifts for him. Who would have known that less than half a year after the wedding, that woman stormed into our home with Su Zizhou, carrying large and small bags of luggage, and placed her hand on her flat stomach. Dad, Mom, Sister, I'm pregnant. Our house is too small, so I'm moving in with you. You wouldn't want your only grandson to live in poor conditions, would you? She raised her chin, disdainfully surveying the house. Your place looks a bit shabby, but I'll manage. My parents and I exchanged glances, all of us a bit bewildered. Su Zizhou carefully protected her, afraid that she might get hurt, and anxiously spoke up for her. Dad, our house is quite big, there's plenty of room. I have to go to work every day, and Yao Yao can't take good care of herself alone, with you two here. I feel at ease about what? Taking care of your wife for free, you sitting at home picking your toes. I felt a bit unsettled inside. Dad lit a cigarette and nodded helplessly. Ever since she moved in, I haven't had a single good day. Every day, I can hear Lin Yao's complaints. That day she gave me a disdainful look and ordered me around imperiously. Go make me some breakfast. I frowned and refused without a second thought. I have to go to work every day, and making my own is already enough trouble. Can't you see I'm pregnant? She said, crossing her arms. Would it kill you to lend a hand? She glared at me and slammed the bowl down in extreme annoyance. My mother came out to mediate, soothing her with kind words. It's okay, Mom will make it for you. Actually, my mom prepares breakfast every day, but she herself thinks it's too unpalatable and throws it in the trash. I explained the situation, but my brother acted as if he had no brain. Sis, why are you being so stingy? She's my wife, after all. It's just a small matter. She's pregnant and easily gets upset. You should be more accommodating. He impatiently waved me away. Don't talk to me. I only care about my wife. I held back, telling myself that she was pregnant and I couldn't argue with a pregnant woman. Who would have thought that one day when my parents weren't home, I returned to find my room in complete disarray, with my belongings being carried out one by one. Lin Yao sat comfortably on the sofa. Sis, your room gets good sunlight. I'll take it. You move out. What woman doesn't get married and still stays at home? My brother was coaxing her. That's right, my sister is too strong-willed. No one wants her. I like you, Yao Yao, so much, she said sarcastically. Oh well, what can I do? Who told me I have a backup in my belly? Some women don't even have a boyfriend, staying at home all day long. How pitiful. What do you mean? I felt my temples throbbing, wishing I could rush up and slap her. My brother stopped me. We're all family, no need for that. I scolded him along with her. Who the hell is family with you? Put my things back. He felt his pride deeply wounded, his face turning ashen. That's enough. What are you making a fuss about? The room will be returned to you once Yao Yao gives birth. For the first time, I felt my younger brother was so unfamiliar. Coming back to my senses, I gave a helpless smile to my sister. He wants to marry, he can only get out, unexpectedly. Before leaving work, I received a call from my mother. She spoke in a hushed voice, as if afraid of being overheard. Your brother is back again, and he's brought that girl with him. What? I shot up from my seat, just in time to rush out and catch a taxi at the end of the workday. What does he want to do now? That girl says she's pregnant. When I got home, I saw the face I had loathed so much in my past life, crying pitifully in my brother's arms. Before she married into our family, she pretended to be gentle and considerate, saying her family treated her poorly, which softened my parents' hearts and made my brother feel sorry for her. Now she's using the same trick again. Seeing me come in, she quickly stood up. Sister, you're back. Her face looked terrible, as if she had been crying for a long time. There was a momentary flash of resentment in her gaze when she looked at me, but she immediately lowered her head. I walked past her and got straight to the point. You can get married. Su Zizhou's eyes lit up. I poured cold water on him without mercy. Pay for it yourself. Don't come to us. He was furious and embarrassed. Everyone knew that after years of working, he had achieved nothing, had little savings, and spent money lavishly. Sis, what's wrong with you? I'm your own brother, for God's sake, I retorted bluntly. So what, just because you're my brother? You think it's okay to have the nerve to ask me to sell my house for you to get married? I want to buy a villa too. Why don't you give me a few million to buy one, and you? I turned my head, looking at her expressionlessly as she pretended, stop crying here, who knows if you're really pregnant or not, I'm telling you, you're not worthy to step into our family's door, you. She instinctively raised her hand, but I grabbed it in one swift motion. What's the matter? Are you getting angry out of shame? I sneered, watching her face turn from pale to red, clearly seething with frustration. Indeed, in her previous life, she loved taking advantage of her pregnancy to lay hands on me. Now, she wouldn't dare touch me. Sis, what are you talking about? She gritted her teeth and forced a smile. We'll be family from now on, so it's really awkward for us to be at odds like this. Seeing that I was firm in my stance, she shifted her focus to my parents. Uncle, Auntie, we truly love each other, as you know. My family insists on 500,000 yuan before they'll let me go. I really want to be your daughter-in-law, and I promise that after marriage, Zizhou and I will take good care of you and be filial. Look, I know many successful people around me, and I can even introduce some to your daughter, so she won't end up unmarried. My parents know my personality and have always worried that no one would want me in the future. Old-fashioned thinking, hoping their children can have a companion, but who says I can't get married? I'm beautiful, have a high-paying job, and excel in education, looks, and abilities. Who is she trying to put down? I raised my hand to interrupt. Don't even think about it. Keep those worthless men of yours away from me. 500,000 is enough for him to marry several wives, who would even want you. For the first time, I stood firm against my parents. Dad, Mom, I've made myself perfectly clear. I will not allow her to step foot inside our house. What I didn't expect was that my usually silent father suddenly slammed the table, putting an end to this farce. Enough. When did this house become your decision to make? This is only the second time your brother's girlfriend has come over, and you already have such a big issue with her. I looked up in shock. Dad, how come you? All right, little girl, you and Zizhou go back first. We'll arrange a meeting with your parents to discuss the betrothal gifts later. I wanted to object, but my father was unyielding. Zizhou helped her out the door. Before leaving, she turned politely and left a very gentle remark. See you next time, Uncle and Auntie. But her gaze at me was full of provocation. That night, I had a big argument with my father. He accuses me of neglecting my family and being selfish. I accuse him of being biased, arrogant, stubborn, and authoritarian. Su Ziyu, you think you're all grown up? I'm not even dead yet, and you're already stopping your brother from getting married. Dad, it's not that I don't let him get married, it's that his girlfriend isn't a good person. If you just changed to someone else, I'd agree. My father snorted coldly. How do you know what kind of person she is? You've only met a few times. I was momentarily choked. I couldn't tell them that I had been reborn. In my previous life, she had caused my family to be ruined, but in this life, she has been acting perfectly, showing no flaws yet. My obstruction only made me seem narrow-minded. My father said, you'll get married someday, and you should want the best for your brother. All right, let's all calm down a bit. My mom walked over and patted my back to soothe me. After saying a few words to shoo my dad into the bedroom, she turned to me and asked, Sweetie, don't mind your dad's bad temper. Tell me, why did you react so strongly? I carefully thought about how to explain it in my mind. In this lifetime, Lin Yao had always maintained a gentle and kind image in front of my parents. She had been with my brother for 2 years, never looking down on him for being unambitious or lacking ability, but instead always staying by his side. To anyone, she seemed like an incredibly kind-hearted girl, but I hate her. I hate how flawlessly she pretends. I hate her bitterness and harshness from the previous life. I hate how she destroyed my family. I hate how she caused my mother to die in the snowy night. Mom, if I say I know some bad things about her, so if she marries into our family, our home won't be peaceful, would you believe me? My mother before me had obvious wrinkles at the corners of her eyes, and her hands were covered with a thin layer of calluses from years of work and household chores. In that moment, my nose stung with emotion. My mother paused for a moment, as if digesting my words. She patted me and said firmly, Mom believes in you. There were tears in the corners of my eyes. The joy of being reborn overwhelmed my mind, making me realize only at this moment what our original family was like. My parents didn't receive higher education. For my younger brother's studies, the family moved from the countryside to the city, where my parents worked. As the eldest sister, the most frequent thing I heard was, Ziyu, you are the older sister, you need to take good care of your younger brother. Our family's preference for boys was never openly expressed, and my father always divided everything into two parts, also telling me to study hard, but from the unintentional actions, I could also sense that in my father's heart, the son was more important, and the daughter would eventually marry out. Otherwise, in his previous life, he wouldn't have gone to such lengths to force me to sell the house. At that time, I thought we were ultimately a family. I longed for my father's praise, for him to truly care about me, for just a "Zu is really amazing" from him. I was obedient and sensible for years, studied diligently, and worked tirelessly. In the end, it seemed like I had lost everything. At this moment, I heard my father calling from the room again, "That room of yours is useless, you won't live there in the future anyway. Listen to your dad, help your younger brother out. If your mom and I are no longer around, you two will be each other's only family in the world." I wanted to ask him, "Dad, does my brother really treat me like family? In your heart, do you want everything of mine to pave the way for my brother?" A strong sense of grievance and disappointment fills my heart. I stand up, wanting to rush in and argue again, but my sleeve is pulled back. My mother seemed to have come to a realization, her tone resolute. "Don't sell it, keep the house. Whatever you want to do, I'll support you." In the following days, I was busy running around for the project. My father and I fell into a complete cold war. That day, he overheard my mom saying not to sell the house, which set him off in a big way, and in the end, he was so angry that he told me to get out. After finishing overtime work, I packed up my things and was about to call my mom when the lights in the building suddenly went out. It was pitch black all around. Panic struck me, and footsteps sounded from behind. "Is anyone there?" I was startled, and the sudden noise caught the other person's attention. The flashlight beam abruptly shone over, and I squinted uncomfortably. Upon a closer look, it was a new colleague from the company. "Are you okay?" The person was named Su Lang, who had just joined the company half a month ago and looked very young. I shook my head. "I'm fine, let's go together." He walked beside me. "This guy is quite talkative. Maybe young people really are more energetic than us." He made the interaction very easygoing, able to engage in any topic. When we reached downstairs, I said goodbye to him. "Goodbye," he called out to me. "Sister Zu, where are you staying? Let me see you off." I used to be very afraid of the dark, but after living a second life, it seems that fear has long since faded away. So I waved my hand dismissively. He seemed quite disappointed and told me he'd see me tomorrow. I turned and walked a few steps, then remembered something. When I looked back, I saw him lowering his head to reply to a message. "Girlfriend." He was startled by me and instinctively turned off his phone screen. "No, that's not it." His reaction is very strange. I only caught a brief glimpse of the profile picture, and it was clearly that of a girl. "Tomorrow you'll go with Xiao Su, your mentor has resigned." After saying that, I stopped observing him. Perhaps he's a scumbag who relies on his good looks to play with people's emotions. I didn't expect the owner of that avatar to crack it so quickly. As soon as I got home, Su Zizhou sent me a message with his chat logs with Lin Yao. It was nothing more than Lin Yao being so understanding. She said that if our family was really in a tight spot, we could reduce it by 50,000. I let out a soft scoff, too lazy to even reply. Somehow, I clicked on that conversation. Lin Yao's avatar looked familiar, as if I had seen it somewhere before. The color scheme was light pink, with a cute rabbit in the middle. Where had I seen it before? A scene from Su Lang's phone suddenly flashed through my mind, and I was amazed. Could it be the same person? So what was Su Lang's purpose in getting close to me? Buzz, a message came in. "Su Zizhou, sis, you should hurry up and find a boyfriend. It'd be best to marry someone rich, so our family can celebrate both our happy occasions together." I didn't reply. Suddenly, I understood Su Lang's intention. I curled the corner of my mouth, and a plan began to take shape. "All right then, let's see if this happy occasion can actually come to pass." I began to deliberately accept Su Lang's closeness. He also noticed the change in my attitude and was very pleased, finding various ways to make me happy. Every day, a bouquet of flowers would appear on my desk. So, one day on the way home, I accepted his confession. On this day at work, my best friend couldn't help but come over to gossip. "You really like him, don't you?" "How so?" I stopped typing and instinctively lowered my voice to speak with her. She was very serious. "I've known you for so many years, and if you really liked someone, it wouldn't be like this. You look at him with the exact same expression as someone teasing a pet. I feel like you're waiting for something, but I can't figure out what it is. It's just a bit strange." Just then, Su Lang came over and gently placed a cake on my desk. I pretended to be pleasantly surprised. I was just craving a little cake. Thank you, he blushed slightly. No, it's nothing, my best friend looked at me with an even stranger expression. I took my time and winked at her. Next month, Lin Yao is bringing her parents to my house for dinner. You should come too. I'll treat you to a show. I glanced back at Su Lang, who was diligently working, his gentle and clean features, along with his bright, moist eyes that seemed to soak in the light, made him look like a forever loyal puppy. Unfortunately, you came precisely to deceive me. I checked his phone, and his WeChat was completely cleared out, with no messages at all. The note for Lin Yao was just a single symbol, but no matter how cautious a person is, traces are always left behind. When he opened Lin Yao's moments with his own account, the view was completely different from what Su Zizhou saw. Each post poured out her longing and dissatisfaction. There was no mention of Su Zizhou at all. I couldn't help but laugh bitterly. My foolish brother liked her so much that he even knelt down for her, but she never had him in her heart. The latest post only had a few emojis, a river, a road, and the number 92. I took a screenshot of her moments and contacted other friends who knew her, asking what those emojis meant. After doing all this, I put the phone back. When Su Lang returned, I kept a straight face and said, "You have plans on Saturday." "All right then." I turned my face away, pretending to be disappointed, but inside, it felt like fireworks were exploding. I knew the crucial evidence was about to be presented. River, highway, 92. I threw all of this to a close friend from high school, and asked him to back it up in case something happened to me, so he would have evidence. Zhu couldn't crack it and lectured me in frustration. "What are you doing, playing these mysterious games?" I majored in computer science. "Sure, but at least have some mercy on my hair." He tried a few more methods and bluntly told me, "This thing isn't some kind of password or program. Don't overthink it with something advanced. Think simple, like recognizing words from pictures." I twirled my pen, constantly pondering what it could symbolize. He recalled something. "Do you remember the you draw, I guess game we played in high school, where we guessed place names and people's names based on the drawings? Is it possible that these symbols also represent place names?" I turned my head. "What do you mean? Don't you remember, when we watched local news reports before? Many of the road names here were very down-to-earth. For example, near the 9 Trees, it's called 9 Tree Street, and around churches, the nearby roads are named after the church, like Church of XX. No, XX. He went on and on. We suddenly looked at each other and blurted out in disbelief, "See Shui Street." That was the only place in the city related to water. Zhu immediately checked where No. 92 was, and the map showed it was a hotel. He's even more excited than I am. "Let's go, we'll catch them in the act tomorrow." No need to be more excited than I am. I originally just planned to sneak over and take a few photos. That day, Zhu and I arrived early to stake out. When we saw Su Lang, dressed in black and wearing a hat, pull Lin Yao into his arms, Zhu was filled with righteous indignation and was about to explode with anger. After cursing for a while, he turned to look at me, who hadn't said a word. "Are you a ninja turtle?" I gave him a sharp look. "If we rush in and argue with them, we'll just scare the snake." "No, Su Ziyu, why did you agree to be with a man like that?" His face clearly said, "You're blind." But I suddenly fell silent. I don't know how to explain it, but these things I must do. I want to make sure Lin Yao never has the chance to use these methods to get through the door again. My friend tactfully fell silent, no longer cursing. I turned my head, not paying much attention to his change at that moment when I couldn't see. His eyes were filled with worry and heartache. The front desk looked troubled, unable to disclose customer information. I took a deep breath, on the verge of tears. "I just found out that my husband came to this hotel. We've been married for years, and his first love has returned to the country. I love him so much. I've loved him for so many years, but he still came to see her." I lowered my head, looking very sad. "I want to make myself completely give up." A young girl at the front desk was burning with curiosity but couldn't show it too obviously. She made eye contact with me. "You want to book a room, right? Wait." I quickly understood her meaning, grabbed the room card, and headed straight to the 7th floor. As I hoped, the room across from mine was where Su Lang and Lin Yao were staying. I pulled out my phone, my fingers swiftly scrolling across the screen, and dialed the police. "I am reporting that illegal activities are taking place in room 703 of Hotel XXX. Zhu silently gave me a big thumbs up. "You're quick on your feet." The police arrived quickly. Zhu quietly turned on his phone's camera, and hearing the commotion outside, he curiously walked out like a bystander eager to see what was happening. A man and a woman, looking flustered, urgently tried to prove they were a couple. Their clothes were disheveled, and Lin Yao was crying pitifully, huddled there in a way that tugged at the heartstrings. Even the police hadn't expected such a situation. They exchanged helpless glances, gave the couple a lecture, and then left. First, Lin Yao finally snapped out of it, tightened her clothes, and pointed at He Zhu, who was watching the commotion, shouting angrily, "What are you staring at? What's wrong with you?" He Zhu said nonchalantly, "Can't I look? I've never seen such a scene before." He glanced up and down at Lin Yao, his eyes cold. Lin Yao involuntarily hid behind Su Lang, unable to say a word. "After all this time, I thought it was about fighting crime. The way you two are panicking doesn't look like a couple at all, more like you're having an affair," He Zhu said deliberately. Lin Yao's face paled a few shades as she retorted sharply, What nonsense are you talking? Why are you so flustered?" "I don't," seeing that the more she said, the worse it got. Lin Yao could only tug at Su Lang's sleeve, signaling him to speak up. Only then did he snap out of it, as if finally coming to his senses. "We are a couple." Ever since he heard He Zhu say the word affair, he had been a bit out of it. "It's okay, let's go." Su Lang brought her into the room, and before leaving, he couldn't resist threatening He Zhu to mind his own business. They swore to admit they were a couple, and it was all caught on camera. He Zhu sent me the video, looking like a child seeking praise from a parent, full of pride. "You owe me a meal for this, don't you?" All right, I'll treat you to 3 meals." I went to Lin Yao's school again. I heard she just got into graduate school and was sharing her experience in a post. Many students know her, so I simply went to their departments teaching building and randomly picked a lucky student. "Hello, classmate, do you know Lin Yao? Her boyfriend asked me to bring her something." The young student was confused. "Isn't Senior Lin Yao single?" I was also confused. How could that be? She's about to marry my brother." The young student seemed to be in shock. "No, it can't be. So this is why she never accepted me despite my long pursuit," he muttered to himself. "She clearly said she wasn't planning to date and wanted to focus on her studies. How could this happen? She even told me she liked me." He suddenly looked up as he spoke. I don't believe it. Do you have evidence?" I looked at him with pity and handed him the WeChat messages Su Zizhou had sent me. I never thought it would come in handy here. Sure enough, the young student was as if struck by lightning. As he scrolled through the messages one by one, he saw Lin Yao's step-by-step seduction and persuasion, all for the sake of a 500,000 yuan dowry, which was vastly different from the gentle, kind, and innocent senior sister he remembered. "I understand, she's not at school now. You won't be able to find her." His eyes were dazed, as if he had suffered a great shock. I seized the moment to express my sorrow. "So she wouldn't even admit at school that she's about to get married. My brother even told me he would work hard to support her through school, but I never imagined." I can't go on. The little student was in a daze. How could it be like this? How could it be like this? Passing students whispered among themselves, having overheard our conversation, and now looked at the little student in front of me with pity. He walked away, utterly dejected. A few young girls came up to me and asked, "Sister, is it all true? Is Lin Yao really getting married?" I nodded heavily. The girls exchanged glances, firing off a barrage of questions all at once, and even filled me in on her exploits at school. It turned out that Lin Yao was too much of a green tea at school and wasn't well liked by the girls. She had stolen most of the boyfriends from her female classmates, only to turn around and accuse them. "Lin Yao and I are just friends. Why are you so bothered? Don't you trust me?" But she always insisted she was single, so the boys pursuing her and those becoming her buddies kept coming. I pondered thoughtfully. Su Zizhou, this big oaf, turned out to be the one taking over the honest guy's role. The girls confirmed I wasn't lying, happily left, and kept discussing, from a simp to a hardcore hater, top-tier combat power. "Tonight, Lin Yao will be honored on your school's confession wall and become a well-known celebrity." These past few days, I've calmed down. My dad thought I had come to my senses and was no longer obstructing Su Zizhou's feelings, so he softened up and invited me home for a meal. I smiled and said, "Dad, what are you talking about? Even if you didn't call me, I would have come back. You understand that, your brother is meant to carry on the family line. As his sister, you should help when you can. Being selfish is not the way to go." I hung up the phone. When Su Lang came over, she casually mentioned, "Su Lang, my brother is bringing his girlfriend home today. Why don't you join us and meet my parents?" His instant unnatural expression was all too visible. I curved my eyes, looking very happy. "My sister-in-law is named Lin Yao, and she's very beautiful." "That's great. Su Lang didn't say much more, but his state was visibly poor. I wish them happiness. He's usually such a meticulous person, but today he even made mistakes in the formatting. My best friend leaned in. What's really going on between you two? You'll find out tonight. When we reached the apartment building, I asked them to go up first, all because there was a familiar-looking person lingering nearby. What are you doing here? He heard the sound, turned around, looking like he hadn't slept 4 days, with dark circles under his eyes. You're just in time, I said, leading him along. The door opened, and a large group of people were chatting amicably at home. Lin Yao was sitting next to Su Zizhou, smiling brightly, listening to their parents discuss wedding arrangements. Su Lang's body was tense, his face looking terrible. They were just talking about me helping to sell the house when they heard me come back and all looked up at me. Oh, I didn't expect everyone to be so concerned about me, I said slowly, bringing him into the living room. But who said I was going to sell this house? My father put down his chopsticks. Su Ziyu, what are you up to again? Ignoring my father, who was about to fly into a rage, I spoke up and asked, come on, little classmate, tell me who you're here for today. I stepped aside, revealing the person standing behind me. It was that little classmate from school who had already become an anti-fan. Lin Yao was suddenly panicked. Lin Yao, you liar, you slut, give me my money back. The black fan classmate lived up to expectations, his face full of anger, a once gentle and clean person now disregarding his image. I fought with boys from the same college for you, took out loans to buy you a phone and a computer. You said you were single and didn't want to date, that you'd marry me once your studies were stable. That's why I was always so good to you. But I didn't expect you to be stepping on who knows how many boats. You slut, give me my money back. Loans. I suddenly realized that he must have been driven to the brink by relentless debt collectors, and the person he loved was full of schemes, pushing him to this point. You, what are you talking about? What money? Lin Yao couldn't even form a coherent sentence. The expressions of everyone around turned to confusion. She knew that today couldn't be ruined, so she stubbornly insisted she didn't know the anti-fan classmate. But I just want to destroy. I feigned surprise. Oh my God, Lin Yao. I never thought you were that kind of person. I can't believe you would do such a thing for money. You even seduced my boyfriend. The situation was getting more and more absurd. Su Lang immediately stood up and retorted, Ziyu, what are you talking about? I was in tears, searching for a video on my phone, and with a slip of my hand, I sent it directly to the family group. We are a couple. The familiar voice. Anyone could recognize who it was. No, it's not what it seems. It's all a misunderstanding, she explained. Her voice trembling, I caught sight of the report that had fallen off the corner of the desk and demanded, when did you get pregnant? Upon hearing the word, pregnant, she gained immense confidence, her panicked expression settling down as she declared loudly, 3 months ago. Is that so? I said emotionlessly, picking up the report. Whose child is it? Is it my brother's? After the previous setup, no one spoke up for her anymore. Her parents felt ashamed and ignored her pleading eyes. Su Zizhou never imagined that the person he had been longing for would turn out like this. He shook off Lin Yao's hand, his face clearly showing disgust. I felt no sympathy at all. His actions in my previous life had almost completely eroded my familial feelings for him. If it weren't for our parents being unaware of everything, my attitude wouldn't be like this now. Su Zizhou asked her, let's get to the bottom of this. What exactly is going on? I added fuel to the fire appropriately. Are you pregnant or not? You're not just trying to scam money from our family, are you? I heard you have a younger brother too. You must need money for him. It must be tough. Besides my brother, how many people are completely devoted to you? There was a recent news story online about a woman who used her emotions to commit fraud. You're stringing along your junior while also seducing my boyfriend. And now you're claiming to be pregnant and trying to pin it on my brother. You sure know how to play your cards. Her face flushed bright red, and she looked up abruptly. Even after being exposed, she refused to give up, frantically grabbing my brother's sleeve. No, I just want to marry you. I really am pregnant, and the child is yours. I truly love you. We can wait until the child is born to do a paternity test. Su Zizhou, don't you trust me? Didn't you say you love me? Is your love so fragile? Your sister is talking nonsense. Don't believe her. Heaven and earth bear witness. Her reaction was so dramatic that even if nothing happened, it makes people feel like something really did. Su Zizhou was completely stunned, looking as lost and dejected as the anti-fan classmate who had learned the truth back then. The black fans also woke up, probably understanding what I wanted to do. Lin Yao lunged at me like a madwoman, trying to snatch my phone. Stop it, You just want to ruin my relationship with Zizhou. It's all your fault, don't believe her, don't believe her. The house was in chaos. I coldly watched her lose control, then slapped her hard, catching her off guard. Her head jerked to the side from the impact. I didn't hold back, putting all my strength into it. Lin Yao's face contorted in pain, unable to recover. Do you really think anyone will still protect you at this point? At this, I paused, leisurely glancing at Su Lang, who dared not meet my gaze and could only meekly plead for her mercy. He bowed deeply. I'm sorry, Yao Yao is young and foolish. Please, let her go. Lin Yao was furious and wanted to continue attacking, but how could I let her touch me? I was taller than her, so I grabbed her wrist and, under her incredulous gaze, swiftly slapped her other cheek as well, neat and symmetrical. Her fair and tender face turned red and swollen. I smiled. This suited her much better. Lin Yao's gaze could now be described as venomous. She knew there was no going back. I had ruined her reputation in front of everyone, leaving her no chance to recover. She began screaming hysterically, using every method at her disposal, hands and feet flailing wildly. I didn't have time to dodge, and her nails left a bloody scratch across my face. The anti-fan classmate spoke up at just the right moment. She's not pregnant, don't hold back. Of course I knew. I frowned, too lazy to indulge her any longer, grabbed her by the collar, and yanked her over, delivering a steady throw over my shoulder that sent her crashing to the ground. The sudden pain made her curl up, ugly as a demon from hell. I crouched down, unmoved by her plight. Lin Yao, you deserve it. These are things I wanted to do in my previous life. I even wanted to kill her to avenge my mother. Lin Yao's parents took her away. Before leaving, the anti-fan classmate left them with a message: wait for the lawyer's letter. I won't let this matter rest. Su Lang hesitated for a long time at my place before finally deciding to confess to me. I'm sorry, but Yao Yao and I have been together for a long time, yet her parents have always disagreed. We had no choice but to come up with this plan. I approached you so that she could smoothly marry into the Su family to earn the betrothal money for my younger brother. I can't come up with 500,000. I have no other way. I stepped back calmly. You have no other way. I sneered. You're really ridiculous. You're just as disgusting as Lin Yao. Exploiting someone else's feelings and sincerity, aiding and abetting evil. You're a rotten person too. Yes, I'm sorry. He averted his eyes, but at some point, I did think about stopping. You're too good, and I was afraid of hurting you. Get out. I don't want to hear any more. Not another word. My best friend kicked him. Scumbag. Get out. This matter finally came to an end. Su Zizhou couldn't bear the blow and broke down, retreating to his room. My mother's eyes welled up with tears. Daughter, you've worked hard. Only at this moment did I feel liberated, the shadow of my past life finally leaving me. Only then did I feel that I was truly alive, that my mother was still alive, and that my life had not yet ended. My father wanted to say something, his lips trembling for a moment, his shoulders sinking as he softly said, "It was Dad's mistake," very softly, so softly that I could barely hear it. I buried my face in my mother's embrace, releasing pent-up emotions, and the tears wouldn't stop. I no longer had to hold on so tightly. When I opened my eyes again, I was greeted by glaring white and the sharp smell of disinfectant rushing into my nostrils. For a moment, I thought it had all been a dream, had a dream of being reborn. Awake, the doctor said you hit your head. Are you okay? It was He Zhu's annoying voice. I tried to move, but even a slight movement hurt. Thanks, still alive, very clear-headed, I said. He Zhu manually adjusted the height for me, so I no longer had to stare at the ceiling. The ward was a single room, empty and quiet. It was then that I began to feel a sense of reality. I had truly been reborn, because in my previous life, I couldn't afford to stay in such a high-end ward. What is 1 + 1? He extended his hand. I knew he was asking about binary. 10. He Zhu smiled and shook his head. Not bad, not stupid yet. I slowly recall what happened before I was admitted to the hospital. After resolving everything, I was planning to go to work when a car suddenly rushed out at the intersection, recklessly speeding without any regard. I quickly reacted and tried to dodge, but the other party accelerated instead. At the moment I lost consciousness, Lin Yao's twisted face appeared before my eyes. I want you dead. Thinking of this, I spoke up and asked, where's Lin Yao? He Zhu didn't even look up, meticulously peeling the apple in his hand. She wasn't seriously injured. She's at the police station right now. Don't worry, I've hired the best lawyer for you. I guarantee this won't be resolved easily. I also smiled and said, then thank you, boss. You're welcome. During my time in the hospital, my Parents came to visit me one after another. Middle-aged people in their 50s sat restlessly on the chairs, fidgeting and only able to hand me a cup of warm water. My mother gently asked about precautions and the discharge time, then followed the nurse out, leaving only my father alone. He has been honest all his life, dedicated to this family, always adhering to the principle that men are the pillars of the household, only wanting to protect his children under his wings. I never expected to misjudge someone, and it even led to my daughter being hospitalized. I closed my eyes and remained silent. After a long time, my father finally spoke. Take good care of your injuries. I beat up your brother and told him he knows he was wrong. Dad was also wrong. He sighed. The silent stillness spread, and I opened my eyes, finding him still and rigid. Dad, let's leave it at that. On the day of my discharge, I still chose to return to my own small home. My mother seemed a bit sad and kept holding my hand, giving me many instructions. Hiju didn't ask why I didn't choose to go back. He had always understood me. Some things, once they happen, are done. Even the closest family in the world can't undo the damage caused. I will never forget my father's lamentations from his previous life and his dominance in this one. Let's go, I'll take you home. Hiju naturally walked beside me, like a lover with years of tacit understanding. Let's go home, I said. Side story. Hiju's perspective. From a previous life, after Su Ziyu's suicide, I locked myself at home, where endless darkness engulfed me, and the only light in the room came from the computer screen. It was the only group photo I had. I met her in high school, on the day of the subject division. She ran over with the class allocation list in her arms and asked me, "Are you choosing liberal arts or science?" Her eyes were very bright, and I understood what she meant. She wanted to ask if I wanted to join her. I casually said, "Liberal arts." She was very disappointed, slumped on the table in defeat, and said, "Why would you go into liberal arts when you're so good at science? No, you should stay in the science track and become a big shot in the future." Later, I met her younger brother in the science class. He skipped classes, got into fights, spent money recklessly, and bossed her around as if it were his right. She habitually put on a smile and said, "It's okay." I lowered my eyes, said nothing, took over those assignments for her, and that very night, I gave her brother a good beating. I grabbed his collar and forced him to swear 3 times that he would never bully Su Ziyu again before I let him go. "If I see you bully Su Ziyu again, I'll deal with you again." He clenched his teeth, his head lowered, his eyes full of unwillingness. "Got it, remember it well, don't forget." I let go of him, and he scrambled to his feet from the ground. "What do you like about her? What is it about a woman like Su Ziyu that makes you protect her so fiercely?" I frowned. Before I could answer, he had already run away. After that, Su Ziyu's life became much better. Her smiles grew more frequent, and she told me she wanted to go to a city in the south, where she heard the winters weren't so cold that you needed to turn on the heating just to get by. "All right then, I'll go with you," I said. During college, we went to different cities, and we could only meet occasionally. I never dared to slack off, just wanting to pursue graduate studies to be where she was. On the day I successfully passed the graduate entrance exam, I held a ring in my pocket and nervously dialed Su Ziyu's number. On the other end of the line, she sounded utterly exhausted. "Hiju, I can't hold on any longer. I dare not think, dare not imagine what might happen." I just repeated over and over, "Su Ziyu, wait for me, I'm coming right away." I never expected that after so many years, Su Ziyu still pushed her to the brink. She didn't make it to see me. I waited in the hospital from night until dawn, and the doctor shook his head helplessly. "I'm sorry, we did our best." That day, her brother didn't even come to see her. I only learned about what she had gone through from another mutual friend. When I found Su Zhou, he looked very uneasy, probably thinking about what happened in high school again. He tried to close the door after just a few words. I desperately blocked the door with my hand and forced my way in under his horrified gaze. "Why didn't you go see your sister?" I asked hoarsely, throwing a punch at him. "Your sister sold her house to help you with the bride price, but after you got married, your wife took her room and kicked her out. Your mother died in a car accident because of your mess, and your sister couldn't be saved after attempting suicide. What are you doing? Do you even have a heart?" The person in the room opened the door. The woman named Lin Yao rushed out with a stick. Seeing Su Zizhou beaten to the point of having no defense, she immediately lost her composure and panicked. What do you want? I'm warning you not to mess around. I've already called the police." The baby's cries in the room were heart-wrenching, the entire room in chaos. Su Zizhou cried on himself, apologizing, saying he was a jerk. I was wrong, I didn't want to abandon my sister. I didn't know my sister would choose to commit suicide. You didn't know. Where were you when the hospital called, and where were you when your sister was left helpless and kicked out? You just stood by and watched, letting your wife bully her. Every drop of blood in my body was screaming, and my emotions were completely out of control. I kept hitting him over and over again, consumed by hatred, no longer caring about anything else, just wanting him to go to hell with Su Ziyu. Stop, stop, Lin Yao desperately tried to pull me away. And I looked up, my eyes bloodshot. She was frightened, collapsing to the ground. Help, help. Su Zizhou struggled in vain, his face swollen, speaking in broken sentences. I felt possessed by a demon, as if someone was whispering in my ear, kill him, kill him. I didn't stop until Su Zizhou had no breath left. The police rushed in and subdued me. I laughed and laughed, but then I started to cry. Why did you come so late? Why didn't I come a little earlier? I had prepared everything. This shouldn't have been the ending. The scene was chaotic, and I was taken away. During the interrogation, I confessed to all my crimes without hesitation. I killed him. Why did you kill him? The interrogator's gaze was intense. I paused, filled with hatred, because he deserved to die. I have no family, no partner, no attachments, all alone, and would rather receive a death sentence. She should not have died like that in the snowy night. If there really is a God in this world, I hope that God can see the suffering in this world and give her a chance to start over. I am willing to give everything in exchange, after hearing the first story above. What are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see.